Hello again, internet people. Alright, so a good look at the belly of the beast. Took a little bit of doing, but well, it's pretty smooth, and it's faired in here, along the sides, everywhere, and yeah, it's pretty well rounded. I think I got rid of all those flat spots, or at least well, the ones that are most prominent. So now I'm just going to lay on some of the sealer. Again, this kind of works as a hardener for the spackle. Actually does a really good job of I guess hardening it. You know, it's what it does a good job of. Taking that dry spackle and you know, curing it even more than just air drying it. So that's another plus with this product. Well, the other thing that's good about this stuff, and this is Sand and Seal from Deluxe Industries, or Deluxe Manufacturing. I can't read. You know, I don't have my glasses on right now, and without them, I can't see. I can't see nothing without them. So, anyways, it's good stuff. This juice right here goes on, does the thing with the stuff and the things, and you know, makes my life easier when it comes to getting these ready for paint. So anyway, this is kind of what the video was about, just where we're at, catching up with current events. So I haven't attached the underwing hard points yet. I have them positioned. I got them pretty well laid out, which one goes where and how. That's just these majiggers. So they line up with the flap line, upward flap separation there, and you know, 90-degree angle. They go to the direction of flight. In other words, you don't want them, you know, causing resistance. So there's that. And then I just need to get them ready, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So I'm just going to go over the cowling area. Now the cowling area has been finished up with the cowl flap ring. This is what I was calling a chin strap. Kit did not provide this part, and but I found it. I mean, it's necessary to complete the cowling. Without it, it just didn't look right. So that's a part that, you know, that I made, and it's pretty easy to come up with the shape of it. So this is ultimately what the template that I used is, just a slight curve to it as it wraps around. The curve faces forward for those who aren't sure which way this should go. If you go this way, you're going to end up with a situation that's a little wonky. So it's curved forward, and that created a straight line wrap around the cowling. So I can't quite go all the way around with this juice on the cowling right now. I've got a little bit of a rough spot here that I just put a spackle on. You can't see it, it's off camera. It's just down here, this quadrant right here. So anyway, so I'm not going to be able to completely paint that off. So but really I just wanted to turn the camera on and start babbling. about nothing. It's really what I wanted to do. And that's not true. So we got the hard points situated, figured out. They know where they're going to go. They're going to get a little bit of detailing. So there's 3 parts that are going to go onto the hard point itself. 3 parts. That's the wrong count. 3 parts that will go onto each one. So the way the bombs attach to these in the real world is they have a and I'm just going to describe the shape of the parts, but the way they attach to this here, so the fins are in such a way that so the bombs don't go this way, they go this way, and that's here, let me show you. So like this, not like this. Okay, that's one thing. All right. Now, knowing that is okay. Then the next thing is there's a rail along this edge that runs lengthwise, and the bombs will be slotted along their top edge in the center line, in line with the opening between the fins. So there'll be a slot here, and then a slight rail, and then a slight rail along here, just about 1/8 of an inch high, and then at either end of that rail, I'll notch out just a couple of little 1/8 inch notches, about here and here on the bottom, and then for that's where the 2, actually total 4 bomb attachment points are, and I think they're solenoid activated, and what they do is they clamp onto the bomb when the bomb's loaded up onto that rail, and as they're loaded onto lifted onto that rail, it's just a very slight rail that triggers a spring clamps to come down and grip the bomb along a couple of little indentations on the bomb itself. And then it's the pilot who triggers the dropping of the bomb, clicks the solenoid, and that unclamps the springs on the hard point, and the rail, I think, kicks down and kicks the bomb off. I'm pretty sure that's how the mechanism works. Don't quote me on it. I haven't really researched it in a long time. But that's my understanding of it. There's a circuit that's completed by having the bomb on the rail, and the solenoid is actuated by that completed circuit. So the pilot pops the trigger, and that kicks the solenoid and causes those bomb clamps, spring-loaded bomb clamps, to split, and the bomb is kicked off by the rail itself. The rail kicks down. Anyway, I'll be fabricating that before I put the hard points onto the wing. So these will be fully dressed with those little pieces and parts and doodads. All I have to do to the bomb is slot it for that rail, and then a little bit of adhesive, I guess, unless I want them to be removable, which in that case it would just be a friction fit. Still not sure. These are not going to be removable. These will be glued up at some point. Well, as I said, as soon as I have them completely detailed. Right? So there's that. What else? I haven't put the tail feathers on yet. I'm still working on the tail of the airplane. Move some of this stuff around. Get a better look at it. Flip the airplane over. I don't know how this camera angle is. Oh, I've been doing that on a regular basis. Wanging that thing against the shelf. I do wish I had a little bit more space in here, but this is live. Alright, so I don't know if you can see how this is coming. I've got a little bit of the filler along the wing seam on the top of the saddle here. It's not how the upper wing fillet is going to look completely, it's just a start. And so I do that in layers. And the idea is the first layer, I want that to get down and into that crack. Because if I try to do it all in one and there's an air bubble or a pocket of something underneath that top of that fillet, of that filler, it may sink, it may settle into that air gap. It's not necessarily shrinking, it's just that there could be an air pocket if I'm trying to do too much, cover too much of a tight right angle gap like that. So with a right angle gap, a tight one like this, and the amount of filler that spackle that it's going to take to create the fillet, the fairing rather, I lay it in layer. I lay it down in layers. So the initial one is just to get down into that gap and make sure there's no air trapped under it. So that's what you're seeing here. That is not ultimately the way the fairing will look. Same with the tail. I've got it started, and I've got the area where the dorsal fin attaches to the vertical fin. I've got that pretty well filled in. It still needs a little more sanding. I can see a couple of little places there that could be a little cleaner. At least on this side. I don't know how that side looks until I turn the airplane around. So you can see the cowl ring now is on, and I did notch it where the flaps are, except for the center line. I think in later iterations, some of the pilots were having trouble with an obstructed view with the cowl flaps opening in the automatic position. I want to say it was in the automatic position. These would, the engine, they reach a certain temperature and this would pop up, and it might be at a point where our aviator is trying to draw a bead on an enemy aircraft or on a ground target. And so what they did was they omitted the center gap and deactivated these two fins from the cowl, these two flaps here. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I think that what they did was fix it in just this minimal open so that there was airflow, but they didn't want this to be popping open and fully extending during combat or during important aircraft maneuvering. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I know it was done on some aircraft. I'm a little fuzzy on whether or not the P-47 was included in that list. In any case, I thought the fewer splits that I did, separations that I made to the cowl flaps, the better it would be for durability. I'm a little concerned that something can catch on one of these slots and break or crack my cowling ring, so I don't want that to happen. So one less cut, every little bit helps or whatever. Okay, so that's why you see that there's no gap here. All the splits are at every other location where the flaps are separated except this one. Now, these are only partially cut, so what I'll end up doing is when I do the draw the panel lines, demarcation lines, I'll be drawing these down to their proper terminus length, which is just about, I don't know, heavy 1/8 of an inch from the front of this ring. So from about here and up to the split, there will be a line drawn to further delineate the cowl flaps. They're not this small, in other words. They're not as small as the cuts are. They're longer than that, but that part will be drawn on. I didn't want to make, in other words, I didn't want to make these cuts so long that it would be inevitable for these parts to be split and broken and cracked. Let's put it that way. I just wanted to make an indication that there are cowl flaps there. Okay, what else can we talk about? Yeah, that's about it. I got the belly tank fabricated. Just have to make the bracket for that. And it's just two end brackets. So picture the letter N, or an N strut if you're familiar with biplanes, and that's basically what the two brackets look like. There's one on either side, one end bracket here and one end bracket here, and then they go to the contact points here, and then this is mounted to those. It's fairly close to the belly pan. It's not, you know, deep. It has to be close. The aircrafts are pretty heavy on takeoff, and you don't want your fuel tank dragging on the ground. So it'll have to be, you know, done to some sort of plan. I'll have to, you know, examine the photographs and see what it looks like. But I mean, I'll just make them short, right? Keep the thing close to the body of the aircraft, and we should be good. Right, so there's that. The landing gear's here, it's ready to go on. I can't do anything until after paint. Probably have to do most of the painting on the aircraft before I can mount those onto it. Might be able to see the fairings on the tail, or the filler I put onto the tail here, and on the other side and on the top. So there's plenty more work there that still needs to be done. A little bit more work to the tail wheel and its tail wheel mount, this part. A few more things to be done there. But that's the current status of our build, and work continues. I should be posting more videos shortly. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.